All right, let's check audios. Crossed everything. Oh, Facebook says we're live. Audio is good on Facebook, and we're good on YouTube. So, welcome back to episode number 28 of the Whitetails and Whiskey Podcast. I'm running out of fingers and toes. That's why I have guests on with me, so we can keep counting with this. So, tonight we're at Connor's doghouse or his barn. This is where all of his deer mounts are. We got Cartel Custom Calls Bangland on the big screen behind us. So if you don't want to watch us and listen to us, you can watch some Cartel in the background. Some birds getting swatted. So, but yeah, man. So thanks for having me out. The barn looks fantastic.
Thanks, man.
It came out great. I mean, this is only a snapshot. We get a good chunk of it with the camera, but this is only a snapshot.
Yep. This is like the break room.
Yeah, the break room.
A break room.
Yeah, I got kitchen out here, full bath, shower. So that's why it's the doghouse for when any of our wives kick us out, we can come crash in the doghouse.
Yep, the recliner over here.
Yep, got a recliner.
Got a place to sleep.
Oh, boy. Of course, Jesse. First person commenting in, Jesse Festa said, "Where's the spikes?"
The monster spikes. We keep them locked up at your place.
Yep, the booner spikes. But, yeah, Jesse was supposed to come out tonight. I didn't hear from him. And then Nate always running a fever, so he's at home taking care of the little one. So, but yeah, no, it's all good. But I figured Jesse would at least make a guest appearance.
I thought so. Fucking Judas.
Fan favorite last week.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, everybody was dying.
He was a diehard.
Oh, dude, I had so many people call the next day and be like, "When's Jesse coming on again? When's Jesse?" They're like, he's a riot.
It's not too late, Jesse. You can get over here.
Yeah, you can get over here. We're running for the next hour or so. You got plenty of time. He's got that new stealth truck.
Yeah, he does.
Didn't even hear him roll into Nate's the other day.
Yeah, not used to that. His freaking truck sounds like a turbo.
Used to.
Yeah, used to.
Yeah,
we had a can on it like that.
Yep. But so Connor invited me out here today. We're gonna talk. He just got his bow buck back. Let me think if I can do this right. Up here. Not the one on the end, but the one in from the end. So, figured we talk some deer hunting stories, get ready for turkey season. Oh, I'm pretty good at pointing it out.
Yeah.
Not bad. I'm pretty good at in front of a camera. I've done enough of these just watching myself. But, yeah, and Connor's requested whiskey of the night is Maker's 46, and since we don't have ice, we just threw a little hand-rolled snowball in there.
Yep.
To give it a little chill factor. So, but not bad.
It does the trick.
Mm-hmm. It does the trick. So what are we going to do with all this damn snow we got out there? We can't do anything anymore.
Probably keep going tomorrow. Good time to go shed hunting.
Yep. Yeah, I'm waiting for the snow to go. I found a couple. But I've been just waiting for the snow to break. You said you still got cameras out. You've been seeing bucks still holding, or
no,
shut out.
Couple smaller bucks still holding, but yeah, mostly shut it out by now.
Yeah, that's kind of been what Nate was saying too, and Jesse was saying that when they were on last week that most everybody that's been seeing them they've been shut out for the most part. Even though we've had a pretty light going winter, I don't think it's been that hard on them, which I think will help us out next year with some better antler growth for our bucks too.
I think so too. I agree with you there.
Yeah. But so you got any strategy with shed hunting or anything like that? I mean, what's your thoughts
really.
with shed hunting?
Typically, I'll walk I prefer like crick lines, anywhere like that, fence lines, anything that's like a natural funnel. I think is the best option. Anything they can duck or jump, anything that kind of get them
impact.
Yeah, a little bit of impact, jar them things loose.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's your best bets.
Yep.
Any food source is a good option.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're out there, you just put on the miles. That's the best way to do it, right?
Yeah, grab your wife, kids, dogs.
Yeah,
I mean, you
make
name
a day out of it.
Yep.
It can be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of the same, all those textbook spots, creek crossings, like you said, food sources, those are all good ones to find them on. And Nate gives me shit for it every year, but the way I find a lot of them, and people give me crap for like, oh, you find so many sheds. I put a lot of miles on.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it.
A lot of boot miles, and Nate gets after me too, and he even jokes with me that I break out my yardstick when we're out there because I grid walk ours, because you know how thick it is.
Oh,
You've got to grid walk mine.
Well, that's the most productive way to do it, most efficient way. Yeah. It's just like anything. It's just like hunting season. The more hours you put in, the more opportunities you're going to have.
Yeah. So that's usually how I get the most out of it. And I only shed hunt a couple pieces too. If you're out there on public, multiple pieces, pieces that other people have permission on, like you said, I would go to those food sources. Those crossings, those are going to be your key spots to find those sheds before other people maybe get a chance to find them.
Exactly.
And then you can go back through secondary spots and stuff like that. So, I think that's definitely a good tip for folks that are going on public. I know there's a lot of people that shed hunt public now.
Oh, yeah.
Where 10 years ago, man, I was probably one of the only people I knew at the time 10 years ago that shed hunting.
Really?
So
in general.
Yeah, I don't think that it's – I think social media has pushed a lot of that.
I can see that.
Yeah, and I think that's where, a lot of the drive for people getting out there to do it, which I'm all for, more people outdoors and enjoying it.
Absolutely.
Is great, but you just got to, find the best way to maximize your time. And it's not as easy as TikTok where you see this guy goes out there in Iowa and puts 8 antlers on, in the basket in 20 minutes.
200 inches of antlers in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
You can't roll the camera all the time.
No.
Play all the footage.
No. And I mean, I found like 6 this year, which is, for a lot of guys, that's a really slamming year. But it's good pieces that have winter deer habitat. Might not be even good fall property or fall sections of a property, but I've noticed my winter shed hunting pieces aren't necessarily maybe my best pieces during the fall either. Depends on where food is and all that stuff too. So, but a comment coming in from Dave said, stopped at the Hunt Works and picked up a couple nice Millennium hang-ons. Steve said he knew you. Yeah, I know Steve Dunnigan and those guys up at the Hunt Works. You ever been up to their shop up there in East Rochester?
I was just going to ask you about that. What is this Hunt Works?
Hunt Works, they're a tree stand blind, and they're a small bow shop too, up in East Rochester. They're a dealer for Millennium. I can't think of all the ground blind and tower blind companies that they have there at the shop, but that's a great place. We got a couple of their soft-sided buck huts, which I think are Millennium brand. I'm not sure.
I think so. And you ever sat in the Millennium tree stand?
They're super comfy.
Oh, they're top notch. Yeah. Granted, you're paying a little more up front, but super durable, quiet.
Yep.
Good stand overall.
Good.
You can sit all day in that if you want.
Yeah. So Steve and the Dunnigans, I've known those guys for a couple of years now. And yeah, it's a nice shop up there. And like I said, we've done business with them with the ground blind. Well, it's a tower blind. I say ground blind, but the tower blinds, those buck huts, which are going up this year. We got the spots all picked out. Just got to finish prepping them this off season. And that's what I've been up there doing and shopping around and always hanging with those guys. They actually sold some of my food plot seed for me up there this year.
Oh, no kidding.
Up at the Hunt Works. So,
we're going to have to talk about that next.
Oh, yeah, the food plot seed.
Yeah.
So, Nate with a good caveat says, I got to stop over and check out that bow buck mount. Yeah, he's right. I can do this. That's why I kind of position myself. He's right straight above me.
2-0 there.
A heck of a buck, dude. And that was, like you said, man, I'm getting good with that point. But so that was one that you killed him in one of the food plots that I blended up for you.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So
I was actually
early. It wasn't quite November. It was October.
It was October 19th.
Yep. Okay.
I think October 19th, Rage. Yeah, I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like mid-October.
Yeah, it was mid-October. No, it was early harvest, and it was picture perfect. Planted that. I was unsure what to plant this year. I stopped over, the whole deal.
Yep.
Stopped over, talked to you, said, Ben, I don't know what to do this year. I just put in that, I scraped that plot down to nothing, and I planted that next year. What we have in there, the turnips turned out phenomenal, and they were destroying them.
Yeah,
just loving it.
That turnip blend and stuff like that. Oh, Jesse says, no, the 18th.
That's right. It was Jesse's birthday, lo and
yeah.
behold.
That's right. Okay.
Thanks,
2018.
Jesse.
Yep.
That's right. It was October 18th.
Gotcha.
Yep. And it was a picture perfect day, actually. I'm up at work, working at the local distillery, building a control panel, and I got this weird feeling, the weather was right. I think there was a storm front rolling in. And I'm like, I call my wife. I'm like, Rach, I think I should hunt tonight. She's like, screw it. Go hunting. I'm like, yep, that's it. Packed up. Wife said, go hunting. And it was picture perfect. Get out there. Perfect access. Plot was beautiful. I put in a nice 360 blind. Just everything was right. Wind was right. Came in perfect. Hits a scrape. Cuts, breaks to the plot. And I think it was 18-yard shot. That's all she wrote.
And he came from kind of the north, right?
Yes, north. Straight out of the north.
Which I was thinking about that on the way over, thinking about stuff, talk about the night, stuff like that. I knew you got the buck back. That was one of the first times I think it was the first time I ever met you was when we were cutting
that
just north of that.
Plot. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
we were cutting that little bit of woods there right before that. When your dad,
that was the first time we ever met.
when your dad bought my property visit at the NWTF banquet.
Yep.
So
that's funny.
Kind of the whole story comes full circle with it.
What was that? 6, 7, 8 years ago?
Jeez, probably.
Wow.
At least six. Had to have been.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's about a minute.
Yep. So Nate says, what brand of tower blind did you shoot him out of?
It was a 360, Nate. 360 blinds. Highly recommend them. Super quiet, super durable. Okay, plexiglass, sliding, silent windows with carpeted shooting rest.
Yeah, that's a heck of a blind. Does Banks make that, or is that 360 their own
360,
blind? Okay.
I believe it's.
Gotcha. I didn't know if Banks made Banks was a company of that, parent company or something.
Banks blinds are the stump blinds, correct?
Yeah, okay. That might be the one I'm thinking of, because I know you got the stumps out here, too.
Yeah, we got one stump blind out there. That's nice, too, but I prefer that 360 over the stump for sure. And my whole family's gone to 360 blinds. I think between the three of us, my brother, my father, and I, we have 6 360 XL blinds. And
they're all ready to go. You don't got to mod them. You don't got to do nothing. They're ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, I modded mine a little bit. I bought the 2 extra bow windows, and I arranged it to where I was sitting the blind. So right on my plot where I knew I would have my closer shots, I put my archery windows. And then my longer shots for rifle season, put my smaller windows.
Yep.
And I'm pretty, I was a little skeptical about hunting out of a blind. Always been archery season, big on tree stands, but I didn't have to stand up or nothing. And as long as you practice sitting and shooting, it was nothing. It was couldn't have been a better setup for that.
Yeah. No.
Right after Andy read the script.
Yeah, no, you can't beat that. And he actually thought, I don't know, maybe you were just messing with us.
Oh, no, I was definitely messing with you guys.
Because you were saying it was a different buck, or, you weren't sure what buck it was or whatever when you came down to the deer shed. We were down there that night. I don't know. I think I was hunting that night, too. I'd stopped back on the way through.
We all ended up meeting at the deer shop that night.
Yep.
At the deer shed.
Yep. And then brought him back here after we found him, or Nellie found him, and got him back and got him hung up here. But yeah, dude, heck of a buck.
Actually, on the recovery of that buck, it was a little odd. My brother and I were on the blood about an hour and a half, 2 hours after the shot. Tracked it, beautiful. Found the arrow about 100 yards out, right where I saw him run. It looked like he went down in the swale lot. So what was that, 150, 200 yards away from my blind probably, where I lost sight of him. When I tracked in, I found where he had crashed and fell, and it was obvious. There was blood everywhere, but then we found like and I've tracked a lot of deer. I have a deer tracking dog, and I've been on a lot of blood. This is the first time I've ever encountered this. It was like you remember, it was like a smelly film that I'd never seen before. And it was because, I think we determined it's because the way the shot passed through that quarter-inch angle, it broke through the diaphragm and caught
you got that kind of...
Yeah, smaller intestine.
Yep.
It's unlike any trial I've ever seen. So we did the right thing. We backed off. I called Ben and Nate right up. Nate lives right down the road. Went down to the deer shed, talked it through with them. We all agreed what we thought. We went back until, I think, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, gave a few more hours, and then we all went out.
Stiffer than a board, dude.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was dead.
Yeah.
Dead on impact.
Yeah, he was dead before you got out of the blind.
No, it was a perfect shot. But no, when you're not sure, back out. I've seen a lot of deer lost because you're too eager, you're so excited, you want to get right on that blood, but you bump them, and that could be the difference between a recovery.
Recovery or finding them or never finding them.
Yeah.
So call Nelly.
Old Nelly.
Rachel's saying. So Nate's giving the old thumbs up. DJ comments in, says Schmiegel.
I don't know if we want to expand on that. Might as well.
Yeah. So Nate says, I love your setup at that spot for a north or a west wind, bulletproof, great access, wind blows over the open field, and good cover around the food plot. That's set up nice.
Thanks, Nate. In my opinion, it couldn't be set up any better. That access is perfect. I make sure I scrape those trails down to nothing before season. So I can try and sneak in on that sandy trail. And
No ground scent.
No ground scent. I walk through a giant puddle before I crawl through there.
Yep. And you used to have like a tripod in that kind of corner,
I did,
right?
Yeah. We had a tripod stand there. That's my old man's stand.
Yep, I remember that back. Like I said, going back 6 to 8 years ago when I first came out here, I remember that tripod being in that corner.
Yeah, he pulled it out this year, took it down to his land in Indiana, and I said, you know what? I'm not giving up on that spot.
I think a stand belongs there.
I think so. And I put in what I call death row.
Yep.
Remember that trail I put right down through, crosses 6 of my tree stands. Added that trail, and it was like a secondary funnel.
Yeah, that main corridor going down through. Yep.
Right from the bedding grounds.
Yep. No, absolutely. So, no, I think that's key. Like Nate says, that setup, we talk about all the time on the podcast, me and Nate do, with the setups that we killed deer out of or the ones that we're hunting, and it all comes back to that setup being bulletproof.
It is.
Whether
access is key too.
Access that, like you said, even that prep work of getting your trail down to like bare dirt or very low cut grass where you're not walking through goldenrod up to your elbows, leaving a bunch of ground scent and stuff like that. That's
minimize and control as much as you can.
That's what a lot of guys, I think, fail to realize is, the deer's not smelling you, maybe when you're walking into it because you got wind in your face.
Right.
But that deer comes back through at 2 a.m. the next, that night, he's going to smell where you rubbed your pants on the goldenrod or whatever.
Yep.
I don't want to be rubbing vegetation. I don't want to be anything like that. The only thing I want to do is maybe ground disturbance because you can't beat that. We can't fly to our stands.
No, you can't. I mean, you got to have some sort of presence in the woods. But if you can minimize it, minimize it. Yep. I'm a big advocate for scent control as well. Big into scent crusher products, and I believe in it firmly. Hunt the wind and control your scent the best you can.
Yeah. It shows.
Proof's in the pudding.
As we're sitting here, in front of a big wall of, not really, really nice bucks. Absolutely, dude. So, are they all New York? You got one or two that
There's one Indiana buck.
One Indiana, and the rest are New York.
Yep.
So, heck of a wall. Absolutely, dude. A lot of guys hunt their whole life to have a wall like that, man.
Yeah, they do. And don't get me wrong, I'm fortunate too. Most of these bucks been shot right out back. It's good location, and
but you got to hunt it right.
Got to hunt it right. Yep. I'll tell you what, there's probably 50 other hunters in the immediate area in this block that hunt around me, and they're not nearly as productive.
Right. No, absolutely. So just checking a couple other sources. Nothing over on the Bullhorn app, and nothing on the Facebook. Must be Derek is out ice fishing out in Idaho. But yeah.
Snowball?
Sure, I'll take another snowball. So we don't have ice. The ice maker's broken.
That's how poor we are. Can't afford it.
So we have snowballs into our whiskey.
You're missing out.
You're missing out, Jesse and Nate, on the good old the whiskey slush.
We got squirrel and rabbit in the oven, snowball and a whiskey.
Oh, don't get them all excited.
You'll fucking sneak right in here.
Oh yeah, Jesse will be coming in the back door before we know it. But yeah, so. And I figured since we had the big TV, which doesn't look that big, but it's pretty damn big. Got to be a 60-inch or bigger.
70-inch?
I can't count.
Black Friday special.
Black Friday special. We figured we put the cartel on. Tyler Breen and all those guys. I talked to Tyler today for a little bit. I got to get down to the factory and get some calls.
You're gonna call Breen for some green?
Call Breen for that turkey call green. That's right. Because I don't know with tearing my bicep, I don't know if I'll be able to shoot a shotgun this year. So I might just be a call guy.
You might have to be.
So I have to get my pretty turkey skills out for everybody. And
there you go.
Brush up on my calling for him, but yeah, no, he was telling me on some stuff they got in the works. You know, he says they've already done more than they did last year, which is more than they did the year before, et cetera, et cetera. So if anybody's checking this out, Cartel Custom Calls, they're right here in New York. They're all hand stamped. They're hand cut,
top notch, amazing product. Can't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
Ask Carl Holyfield. Carl Ray will tell you.
Carl Ray will tell you. But, yeah, I think that's the episode we got on.
Surprised you don't have the Masked Man of Mayhem on your show already.
Yeah, no, me and Tyler were talking about that. He said next week he's available. Unfortunately, next week I'll be down in Tennessee at this time. So
that's right.
So we'll see. The week following that, the last one in March there, before we get to April. Seeing if I can get Tyler lined up and maybe go to him or whatever. I'm getting okay at bringing this on the road, you know, getting it set up as long as I got decent internet access and it don't crap out on us like it did last week. But
yeah, if you're gonna be in the Smokies, I don't know how good it's gonna be. But
yeah, we'll find out. I'll be sitting there in the hot tub with my whiskey, sitting there talking to everybody next week.
Keep your shorts on at least.
Yeah, drinking my shine. So we'll see. And that's the other thing too. Hannah wants to go to Sugarlands, who did Pete Cheney's stuff. Yep. When he won Master Distiller, so that's like right there in Gatlinburg. Yeah, so
that's a must see.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they got dozens and dozens of different kinds of shine and stuff like that. So we got Jesse calling in.
No, Owen Harris.
Nate said, I heard Jesse is working on levitating skills to access his stands. Jetpack Jesse. Hey, I could see it.
I can definitely see it.
He'll figure something out. But no, it's a good time. Jesse's a riot. I mean, I love hunting with Jesse. You know, the couple times I've got a chance to hunt with him, he's as much of a riot in the woods as he is on the show for all the viewers. A lot of people wanted more Jesse in future episodes.
Yeah. So I can see why.
So I'm sure he'll be making more appearances on it. Yeah,
I wish Jesse was here because I'd smoke him in an arm wrestling competition right now.
Oh,
here, right now. All this whiskey. Woo.
Oh, there goes. He will end up here by the end of the night.
He will. Now, that's it for sure.
Yeah, but
I got to turn my hat backwards. Drinking whiskey. Come on, Jesse. Let's arm wrestle.
Yeah, you got to wrestle.
He might have texted me now.
It might be. We're on a slight delay with the thing, so he might not quite get it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, for the turkey hunting, have you been seeing many birds around?
I have not, no. But that's par for the course out here.
Yeah. They don't really winter right on this block.
They really don't. Doesn't seem to be that way, at least.
Gotcha. Yeah, me and Tyler were talking about that. We talked about turkeys for a long time, so that's one of Tyler's big passions. That was something his grandfather was super involved with and passionate with.
He was president of the NWTF?
State president.
State president of the NWTF.
Yeah, I believe he was.
Great man, did a lot for it.
Yep, absolutely. For the reintroduction and the capture and transplant and restocking and all those endeavors back in the day. He was huge in that.
Yeah, and I've heard that it's thanks to him, amongst other men, that we have even turkey hunting here now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure Tyler will talk more on that, but we could touch on it too. That just because you're seeing birds now, a lot of people get excited. They see these flocks of 30, 40, whatever birds in the wintertime. Like we were talking, he was seeing
just like the fall.
Yeah, he was seeing a good flock, the good fall flocks, winter flocks, and what they do is they just get in a neighborhood like this and they spider web off. Mm-hmm. And then I relate it back to a lot with my domestic birds, even that there's different groups of my domestic birds that are hanging out different sides of my enclosure, or that hang with each other.
That's pretty cool. You get to do a
it's
little
just
research
a smaller,
in your backyard.
smaller scale.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's just a much bigger footprint out in the woods. So, like this time of the year, you can see that like these two hens hang with themselves, and this hen hang with each other in one of the toms, and it's really cool to watch them in different sections of the. I only got a 50 by 30 enclosure, but you can still see them. They kind of almost stake their little claims in the enclosure.
Good place to test your calls in the spring, huh?
Oh, it's super simple. I told Jake that
you slam the car door. And
I told old Jake Vanderlyn he's even a pretty good caller out there. You can get anything to gobble. Clap your hands out there, dude. The birds gobble. If you want to practice and get birds to gobble, you can come over and we can make the birds gobble. That's easy enough. But so DJ says I had my first raft come through last week. It's been 1.5 months since I saw them. Raft, maybe be flock, auto type, auto spell. But yeah, no, it's they're very much wherever there's food right now because it's a tough living for a turkey trying to make a living in the winter time.
Months,
yeah.
So, maybe not so much this year, but it's still sparse.
Yeah, they still got to have open ground, which we've had a lot of this year for them being able to get to grass and stuff like that. But you still can't have bugs in the wintertime. No, they're not out.
No, they're dormant.
But if you have any row crops that never got harvested, corn, beans, anything like that, you're going to pull turkeys in for miles.
Oh, definitely.
For this wintertime. So, sometimes people can get an unfair skew for turkey numbers. If you got standing row crop, like I got a client here in Ontario County that turkeys out there out the nose, deer out there out the nose. And it's something that he's definitely seen a ramp up into the winter months of deer totals than he usually does over the winter just because he's got winter food this year.
That's a big difference.
So, and that's where I found a couple of my sheds this year already, was over on his piece. I was doing a little shed hunting. I'm out. I tore my bicep, so I'm out of work. And it's not that far of a drive here in Ontario County to go do a little shed hunting. Take the dog.
Yep.
Go walk around. Cover a little bit of ground.
How is Bear doing on the sheds?
Oh, he's good. He found that big deadhead over there at my client's this year. There goes the baby monitor. Bye, Rach. So, but yeah, so Bear found that big that big deadhead, which I'm wondering it might win the shed fest for Pertner.
The deadhead one?
Yeah, it's. I haven't seen another entry come in. I mean, it's possible that there is, but I mean, he's really super cool. Got a really cool split brow. Big spike on the one side, just a kind of a gnarly, cool, lot of character buck.
Those are my favorites. Bucks with character.
Yeah. So, just trying to find a picture because I don't think I've shown them to you yet. But other than that, there's a couple sheds, mostly old sheds though. I didn't find any newbies, which they don't have any cameras out there anymore this off season. So we don't know if a bunch were still holding. So maybe I'll go back out there and shed hunt again.
Yeah, one heard of that. Yeah. How many of those had the rodents chewed up?
Just the one. Even the one bigger 4-point side that I found, it didn't have much chew on at all. And that was, like you said, deer trail. That's the only one that I found at a log jump, like a specific log jump.
Yep.
There was a tree that was, I don't know, maybe 25, 26 inches around that had dropped probably 3 years, 2-3 years prior to that. And you could see where the trail kept going over the tree.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm just walking the trail out, leaving for the day because I actually had the appointment for my MRI for my arm. And I walk out, and I'm coming over this log, and Bear's off to my side where he usually works. And step over this log, and boom, right on the other side of the log, tines up with a bunch of leaves on it, is this nice side off of an 8-pointer. And I'm like,
that's a lovely find right there.
Perfect. But,
now you're saying you like to grid search your property, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that includes your bedrooms, right? You're in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I was curious because some people are finicky about the bedroom. Like sanctuaries. We hunt that way, but don't necessarily shed hunt that way off season.
Mm-hmm.
But there's parts of the property that I hardly even know what they look like because I am hardly ever in there. But when you're shed hunting, I'll go scan right through those thick, gnarly bedrooms and see what I can find.
And the best way that I've found to tell guys to attack their sanctuaries, their bedding areas, bedrooms, whatever you want to call them,
is with a dog.
A dog is, a good thing with that. A good dog that doesn't trash. Yeah. That's the biggest thing. The bumping them out of a bedding area and bumping them into maybe a neighboring piece is obviously, some stress level, but not to the stress level that if you got a dog that trashes on deer and chases them, that's obviously a no-no.
Yeah.
But the way I tell people is get in there, shed hunt for your day, get out. And maybe it's you can do this block, this day. Get 2-3 buddies lined up, go out there, grid that block off, grid it real good because you're only going to be in there once.
Yeah.
And then that's really it.
Yeah. It's in and out. It's not.
Yep. Other than maybe, doing some habitat work, cutting a corridor, like you said.
While you're in there. Yes.
Death row or something out in there after the fact. And you can do a lot of that scouting now where you go back in there with Onyx or something when you're shed hunting and mark up, a death row or something like that for a corridor coming out of one of these bedding areas.
Yeah, now's the time to do that. If there's something you noted in your hunting season while on stand, on set, now's the time to take care of it.
Yeah, 100%.
And keep in mind that if you're out there and you stumble upon a great deer trail or excellent deer sign, I wouldn't necessarily set up on it for the upcoming season because of the pattern changes.
Yep.
You agree with that?
Yeah. Or like I always tell people that, when you find something, a lot of guys, as soon as they find it, this is where I got to be. I tell them backtrack it and then forward track it. Go in and out of where that trail's coming and going to and find the spot that is your best ambush spot, on that corridor. It might be littered with sign, and it's going to be back in your sanctuary and back in your bedding area, but you want that to be your sanctuary, your bedding area, all that stuff, so those deer feel safe there, move there during daylight or on your property during daylight, and then you backtrack it where you can access the sides of the bedding or adjacent between beddings to maximize your opportunities and minimize your impact at the same time.
Exactly. It goes back to what we were saying before. Minimize your impact and your access. You're not going to want to walk in on these deer in the bedroom and climb up above them while they're down in bed. It's just not going to work out.
Yep. Not consistently. And that's right. And that's what everybody says is, look at this guy. He's super aggressive, jumps right in that thing, goes right into the heart of the bedding area, kills one. Okay.
Not my style.
Again, if you're looking at consistently doing that, I don't believe that.
No.
Consistently or in a state with minimum hunting pressure where it just doesn't matter and that deer hasn't seen a person in the last 3 or 4 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're hunting completely different animals maybe in those situations or circumstances.
Absolutely.
So, and it might seem counterintuitive, but, the less impact you can put on it, it sounds different when I say this. It sounds weird when I say this. The less impact by hunting more stands is going to help you be more successful, consistently across the board.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
So, and not hunting, because I'm sure you have like a number 1 and number 2 stand that you just love.
Oh, I love them, but I ain't going to sit them out every day.
Exactly.
I'm going to hunt the wind again, predominantly hunt the wind.
Got to hunt the conditions, got to hunt the right scenarios. I don't know if you've been down in my basement since I hung up my big whiteboard with my big 1-year rule and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, like me.
Excellent way to track it, too.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
It proved itself this past season for you.
3 out of 4.
Yep.
3 out of 4 for us at the farm.
Those are facts that you can't argue with.
And I mean, if you want to slant that a little bit and make it 4 out of 5, my neighbor killed the biggest buck we had on the farm, where he should have been right on the south border that day.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, unfortunately, it slants. But again, that just more proves the fact that literally that deer 1 year ago, from the day he killed it, was on the south border. Where'd he get killed? Right on the south border of our farm.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
You know?
And that's now I'm a big advocate of writing everything down. I bought one of those hunting journals that we talked about earlier.
Yep.
You know, probably prior to the bow season last year. And I mean, that's granted, I have minimal data in there to refer to right now, but in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you bet your ass I'm going to be referring to that information and say, what was I doing on this day? What was the hunt like? And compare year to year.
Yeah, taking those specific dates and starring them.
Yeah.
The 4th, you know, down by the swamp or down by that trail is killer on the 4th. I got to hunt that spot. Or, like we said, backtrack it on that corridor to a spot where you can hunt it with the right wind.
Exactly.
You know,
and it isn't as simple as just writing down, okay, sat in the corner of food plot today. It's I'm putting down barometric pressure, wind direction, what was the weather, you know, was there snow on the ground? Every little detail that I can write in there, it's going to be in there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the more data you can put on it, I think, and this is my personal opinion, the more personal data you can log from the properties and the region and the area you hunt is so much better than the Whitetail app that you're running that says deer movement's good today.
I absolutely agree. And there's been, I mean, I have ran them all in the past. I've got, what is it, Deercast from Drury.
Oh,
I got HuntWise, Onyx.
There's all sorts of apps. Yep.
Yeah. Hunt Stand, I think I tried this year. They're all different too because I'll cross-reference them, and you know, none of them have been spot on.
Yeah, and I think the best thing you can do is your own personal observation data, and then your historical data, because you know, and the whole historical data thing I think stemmed from. I think I heard about it first with the Juries. Back on probably one of their first DVDs, might even have been VHS. I was watching from the Juries where they were talking about historical data with deer, and then I started looking at that with my trail cameras year to year to year in specific bucks because you know some of them I had a lot of history with, and then started thinking about that in like the relationship to historic rub lines, where there's trees that have literally scarred over and healed over and then been re-rubbed and then scarred and healed over and re-rubbed. That's historic data, and there's got to be some historical, you know, connection with a lot of that stuff. Absolutely,
there is a reason.
Absolutely. So,
and that's what's beautiful about those apps is you can mark trail camera here, rub here, scrape here, the date, all that stuff. Yeah. But as far as relying on it. No, you can't rely on it.
No, it's not. And again, like I said to anybody that's come down there and looked at the board and goes, what the hell are you doing down here? It's looking back at it and just saying that, you know, I'm looking at targeting this buck. He's in Cherry Orchard. So he's in zone 1 on that day. Can I hunt him down in the Cherry Orchard? No, I don't have the right wind. So we backtrack it or look in that same zone of the property to hunt him in that zone of the property that day. And like I said, the 3 out of 4 that we killed, me and my dad this year, we killed on 1 year.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and the only other one we didn't was Hornet, and that's because we had no data with him. He was a new guy.
Yeah, it's a new buck.
So,
and it can happen on any given day. You'll have that, right?
A new buck, a random guy. And, you know, there's other bucks that I've killed on 1 year rules, not for specific bucks, but for specific estrus does. Like George was a great example with the rifle during that snowstorm. Again, that south end of the block, you need that screwy wind right there at the end of November. Had the screwy wind with that weird east-northeast wind to set that one stand that I can get into the right way. And the timing's right, the date's right for 1 year history with it. I get in there and
data to refer to. So guess what? I know where I'm sitting.
Yep.
How many times you sat around during the day? I know, especially like
looking through a clipboard.
You're like, man, I don't know where to sit today. I've got 6 stands I can sit today with this wind. What am I going to do?
Well, that's where you sit there.
Call back on your data.
Yeah, you sit there and you look at the stands for the wind locations, or the wind directions, like you're saying. And then I flip forward to that and say, okay, I can set zone 2 here, zone 3 here. What bucks do I got in what zone?
Exactly.
And then you connect dots to dots, and it's just like it starts falling in. And I wasn't something I was looking to do. It's not like something I was projecting my opinion on it until it started happening. And then when it started happening, it's just like, why am I not doing more of this?
Right.
So, and now we track deer all the way from 2.5 years old to start tracking historical patterns up through. And, it killed them. It killed a lot of them. And that's how my dad strictly hunts now. I hand him the
How could you not?
I hand him the notepad for the bucks and say, here's your bucks.
Old Tin Cups guide service for the old man.
Yeah. No, and it worked out great. And it gets him out in the woods.
It obviously worked out great. You had a hell of a year.
Yeah. Best year he's had at the farm and best year he's had in a while. First buck he's killed with a bow in over 20 years. I mean,
that is an amazing year right there.
Dude, that's
memorable for sure.
One for the record books for sure. Trent Snyder, sorry I missed your comment, came in, man. Said Bangland Season 3 on in the background. Hell yeah.
The Grim Reaper himself.
Really? Funny to say that. Wow.
We're on Season 6 now by the time.
Yeah, by the time we
received it.
But yeah, man, absolutely. No, I'll be down to the I don't know what they call it. The compound, the factory. What do you want to call it for the cartel product?
I don't know. I don't want to tell.
Be down there getting some calls and blew the reed out of one. I had a couple that dried out in my truck over obviously the summer. So I'm down to 2 that I had that I didn't blow last year. So I'll have to have Tyler spruce me up with a couple, buy a couple new ones. And again, anybody listening in, the Cartel Custom Calls, I mean, they're
top notch.
Sponsor of tonight's videos, Cartel Custom Calls. Trent Snyder. And, that good. All that stuff. But, no, it's...
Speaking of the cartel, when are they going to put on a class for special guys like me that can't figure out these damn mouth calls? I got to hunt with my brother every time. He can do it.
Yeah, well, it must be just better with his mouth, but I don't know.
I wasn't going to go there, but thank you.
No, that's all good. I mean, it definitely takes some practice. There's different reads, different guys run different cuts. Mine, I like a softer read, a 3 read with a stronger supporting read. Tyler's goes bad scientist when I'm in there in the shop. He'll stamp one out, cut one out, and say, "Here, try this one." Cut one out, stamp one out. Here, try this one. What one do you like? You like that third one or the second one or da da da?
What I really want to know, does he wear the mask while he's working?
No. The man behind the mask.
The man behind the mask.
Who? But no, it's really cool. And now that we know, what I really like to run and can, run real effectively and get the tones I want to get, and not necessarily, I don't like super aggressive cuts and stuff like that. I like really soft talking birds and doing nuances like leaf scratching and, fly down, with a wing call and stuff like that. I like that. The nuanced turkey calls,
You know what my fly down call is? No, that's straight up Jesse Fest. My fly down call is you take your hat.
Oh yeah. No, I got one of the old, and I bought it off of eBay because that's the only place I could find them anymore. And I think the cartel needs to come out with these. So if Trent and Tyler are still tuning in, you need to come out with a rerun of the old Primo's wing calls. Did you ever see those?
I used to have one.
Yeah, it's like it looks like an old kind of a wing bone kind of palm shape with, you can put wing feathers in it. It's interchangeable. And that has killed so many birds with just small, soft tree yelps in the morning, a slight fly down.
Right off the roost.
Right off the roost, killing birds right when get in tight, use your woodsmanship and your scouting, and kill hard to kill longbeards.
Yeah.
Those birds that give you the slip.
Mm-hmm.
When you can put them to bed and know where they are, do your scouting, go back in at 2 p.m, find droppings, find feathers, in the roost areas and stuff like that, and know what trees they're going to be in and know where they like to go in the morning, sitting with the birds in April, going into May, using historical data.
Yep.
to kill some of these harder to kill birds. And a lot of birds, I mean, I've killed a lot of birds with my dad over the years that it's hardly any calling. It's more just maybe a fly down little wing, a couple soft tree yelps.
Yep. And I love putting them to bed.
And you just wait on them, know where they want to go. And sometimes, for that 1 out of 10 times, they decide to go the other way. You never do know. But again, we've killed a lot of birds with that soft, nuance tree calling that you can get the volume right and that tone right. And that's where I like the call that Tyler's built for me, to really be able to do that kind of calling. And, we had a couple birds last year. The hens just took them the other way on me and Nate. And then I was able to dial it right up, put a different one in with a little bit aggressive cut where I get a little bit more volume out of it and a little bit more echo out of it. And we had a bird that we heard way off that morning, and we called him in from 1 or 2 drumlins over, and that bird ended up showing up in our laps, and that was a bird that I called in for Nate last year.
Oh, okay.
That just ended up working out just because. But we were right on, but the hens flew down behind us, went the other way, nothing we could do.
That's happened to me a bunch. They set up on the roost, like they fly down the opposite direction.
Oh, you're not gonna compare with the real hens. That don't work.
It's tough to beat them. We've done it a couple times in the past.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say me. I'm always just the running the gun, but between my dad and my brother, they can call, especially my brother. Last year, Derek and Colin picked me up.
Oh, Derek's a turkey killer too.
Derek is a killer.
Yeah.
So is Colin. Colin really surprised me last year.
Oh, absolutely. Colin's killed a lot of birds.
I think they killed 26 birds last year for other people, just going out and Colin, getting that experience and that practice. Colin went down with a cartel and hunted public land in Indiana. They had a blast. That's actually why we got that boat ripped apart. Because he's getting ready to go down there because I guess they floated in down the river and on public land they call, dock, and go out and set up. Sounds like a blast.
Oh, speaking of Derek, we were just talking about
this. Is a great story.
This is a great story.
So anyway, Colin picked me up. We end up driving all over the place. We drove for probably an hour. We went all the way out past Colin's place, Port Gibson, up Canandaigua.
Trying to find a bird.
Just trying to see a bird, right? And we had already sat the morning. It didn't pan out. The morning prior, my brother and I had set up behind the house, and we had a real nice bird coming to us in a doe comes out right in between us and the bird at about 60 yards away, blows the whole thing up. Comes out, blows. There goes the bird. There goes the bird. There goes the bird.
I'll duff 2 of them there.
No surprise. Turkey killers, man. But anyway, so back to so we're driving around. We come all the way back out to like Seneca Castle, Geneva. We end up back at home, and now we're pushing the line. It's like 11 o'clock. End up out back, hit the call, walked all the way out there, just trying to call up some birds. Not a gobble back, nothing. So we're calling it quits for the day. We're walking back to the truck. Don't you know, we walk up the hill, bird sounds off, coming our way. So we turn around, me, Derek, Colin, we sprint back out there, set up, within a minute, he's right there below this hill, coming right at us. I'm in front of them. They're behind me. They're working the calls together now.
Back and forth.
Amazing job. These guys are great. And running cartel calls, lo and behold, can't beat it. So I'm sitting in the tree in front of them. This bird comes right down strutting, and then he stops, and he turns, and he's puffed up, and he's going up and down, up and down. I'm like, what the hell is going on? This bird will not come any closer. He's about 40, 50 yards at this point. I had it on his head, and I'm like, I waited, right? I want this bird close. There's no reason he shouldn't come. Well, there's a barbed wire fence there that we can't see. So he's not crossing. He ends up like puffing up, strutting up the hill. He gets to like this little clearing in the woods. So these guys are still working the calls. They got him up there now in this little opening in the woods up the hill, and you can just see his fan going back and forth. So Derek grabs the fan, right, and I'm creeping up behind Derek, waddling up this hill, and there he is in the opening. I just tiptoe over Derek's head and take him out. What a hunt! Beautiful bird, amazing hunt, just hell of a time in the woods.
Me and Nate, we talked about a couple birds, on the podcast previously, probably one of the first episodes talking turkey season before deer season. And we're talking about some of these birds that we were chasing. We were having a hard time with them just because of where they roost. They don't roost on permission properly. We have permission on.
Right.
So that makes it tricky.
That makes it tough.
So we have to almost get those birds struck in the midday if they're over on that side of the block that day. So you don't know if you're going to go over there and they're going to be there or not.
No, you don't know.
So in a couple of them, we learned some of their nuances and patterns. Nate's fairly new to turkey hunting. I'm obviously new to that block. It's not like some of the pieces I've hunted my whole life. So, and talking back to historic data, I mean, you can ask my old man. There's a tree up in my hardwoods that he's probably killed a dozen birds from that tree. Literally.
Yep. That's where I give all the credit in the world to cartels. These guys are driving around all over.
Oh, my gosh.
And they're just taking out these birds left and right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we're talking about statistical data over years that we've collected. Right?
Yeah.
We know roughly where these birds are roosted.
Yep.
Not them. They go in, get them to talk, and take them out.
And Trent's a world-class caller. Tyler's a world-class caller, 100%. I think, don't quote me on this, but Tyler's talking about having an actual booth down there at the NWTF show next year.
He should. He should.
Absolutely. I think they're
in my opinion, those guys are the best in the country at what they do.
Yeah,
by far.
Top of the industry. For mouth calls, 100%. Can stand up against any one of them.
I think so.
Yep. And again, they're hand stamped. They're hand cut.
You cannot beat that.
They're hand stamped, hand cut, hand inspected every single call.
It's just like Duck Commander in the making, but
Yep. So, and again, support your local the best you can. And I know he was talking about having issues with Facebook buying and stuff like that. I know that's where we get most of the traffic for the podcast and YouTube and stuff like that. But just hit these guys up directly. Shoot them a message. They'll work with you. They'll figure out the shipping and
and they'll get right back to you.
Oh yeah, it's a direct to consumer company. I know they're talking about going with retailers and stuff like that, and obviously expanding their brand. But Nick Wyckoff comments and says best calls on the market, proofs in the pictures. Yeah, I don't know many people that don't run cartels anymore.
No,
at least
around here.
Yeah,
you're stupid not to.
In the Finger Lakes region of New York, and obviously more beyond. But anybody in the Finger Lakes that I know that still hunts, turkeys on the regular, has probably got a cartel call in the vest.
Yeah, and they don't make just mouth calls either.
They got the pot calls, box calls.
The pot calls are amazing.
Yep.
I personally haven't tried a box call yet, but I know my brother's got a couple.
Yeah, I got my old trusty box. The box is the only thing I have.
That's the only thing I can use. I either run the gun or use the box call when I'm by myself.
I don't know what to do with my hands. But no, they're all great calls. The pot calls are great. I think I got one in my vest that's a cartel one that I really go to a lot, especially for locating birds. I really like that one because I can dial up the volume on it and really get that one to bark and get out there to find birds.
Man, I got the best locator call.
What's that?
You don't know? The old "Woo, cooks for you." Thank you, Jeff Foxworthy.
There you
The
go.
old turkey locator call.
I like this comment from Nick. If you don't and your neighbor does, you'll be wondering where your bird went.
That's accurate.
That's 100% accurate.
Tell Nick he needs to buy a new bow fishing boat.
Yeah, so it's not in the shop. I was thinking Connor had it in the shop because he posted it up on Facebook the other day in the shop. But Connor's got his boat for sale, his bow fishing, duck smashing, whatever you want to use that boat for. Perch jigging.
I've done a lot on
lake trout fishing, walleye fishing.
I've done a lot on
bass fishing. That's a heck of a boat. Was it
2015 Grizzly Tracker Sportsman.
Custom deck.
Custom
lights.
Welded an aluminum deck. Last year with an electric gate on it. Push button. Push it. Gate comes up. Push the button on the remote. Trolling motor comes out. Brand new Seal Light, 120 volt lights. Set up, ready to go if anybody's looking for a boat.
It's even got a good trailer under it.
It's got a mint trailer. That's why Walk Off needs a new one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, no, that's a heck of a thing. And I can't wait to have Tyler on the podcast. Probably go down to meet those boys down there at where they're working out of this year for punching their calls. And maybe have Trent on and stuff like that. I know he's got a baby on the way and stuff like that. So I know life's getting busy for guys our age.
Absolutely.
So, and that's why Nate's not here. That's why Rachel's in.
Yeah,
taking care of the little guy
tough.
Tonight.
You got to make time for the things you love, though.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I'd love to see Tyler on here, though. I don't know if you guys know Tyler Breen, though.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a vocabulary of his own.
Yeah, you put a turkey call in his mouth and he'll have
amazing.
Whole new vocabulary.
Exactly. He speaks many languages.
Yeah. No, Tyler's good. Trent and all those guys, top notch with Cartel. So, and that's what we've had on repeat in the background as they're smashing birds and the freaking snow-covered tundra-looking stuff there behind us.
Bangland, baby.
Bangland, for sure. But no, I think that's a good place to end it. About an hour in, like we like to be. Don't let the conversation get too stale.
Yeah.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. Just double check. Haven't had any comments over on the YouTube tonight. Only one viewer on the YouTube. It's definitely not Platt because Platt always comments.
Does he?
But probably my wife.
Probably.
Yeah. That's nice.
Patronizing.
That's nice for her. But
thanks, honey.
Yeah. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Rachel, for the little whiskey snowballs.
Cheers.
Thank you, Connor. Cheers to everybody at home. And we will catch you guys all next time on episode 29. I'll be down doing it solo.
Yep.
In Tennessee.
In the hot tub.
Yep.
Just keep your shorts on.
Well, let the people below screen. But thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate all the support. We do have hoodies, even though neither of us are wearing.
We're not repping them.
Rachel had hers on.
She did.
Yep. So we still do have some hoodies, all the greens, a couple browns left. So, help us. I mean, we got a brand new camera. I mean, it's a heck of a camera. Got the microphone, all that good stuff. So, and keep bringing nice whiskeys for you guys to watch us enjoy and kind of review. So I think this Maker's 46, dude. I think if anybody likes easygoing whiskey, Maker's 46 is a good one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Maker's Mark. Good stuff.
All right, guys. We'll catch you all next time here on the podcast.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Cheers.